Well, hello everybody. How's everybody doing tonight? We got the world famous Mr. Luke Vaught, who's traveling on the road with the Inspirations Quartet. What's up, brother Luke? How you doing, man?
Hello there, Spencer. I'm doing good. Are you doing okay?
Man, I'm doing blessed. I'm doing blessed. I tell you
Well,
what, y'all sitting the house down singing that C, man. I tell you the truth, y'all sitting the house down.
yeah, that was a good time.
Yep, yep. Brother Luke, when did you accept Jesus Christ to come in? Start off with that, man.
When I was a sixth grader, I was in the sixth grade, and my family had moved towns two different times over the last couple of years, and I just lost my grandma, just lost a great grandmother, and I was going to a different school. I had went to a different school for like 3 years in a row, 3 or 4 years in a row, and it just kind of left me with lots of questions, I guess you could say. It wasn't
Mm-hmm.
just a horrible life. I was happy and fine, but it got me thinking about a lot of things. And obviously the big thing was thinking about my soul. And I realized that I had never done anything about that. I had heard about the Lord and was raised in a Christian home, but I had never trusted in Jesus for myself. And so right at that time, after I had been having all these changes in my life, I
Mm-hmm.
found something really that I could hold on to, and that
Amen.
was Jesus Christ.
Amen.
And reason I always remember that was in the sixth grade is because I remember one of the first people I told was my teacher that in that particular class. I don't know why that stands out, but I was excited to tell people about that.
Amen. Well, brother Luke, who'd you listen to growing up?
My dad played the bass with a quartet, uh, a little local group called the Good News Edition. And I grew up riding with them to singings on weekends, and that was all I knew about gospel music. Hang on, I gotta reply to a text message real quick.
All right. I understand, brother Luke.
Sorry. Um, I listened to that group growing up because I traveled around with them, and then my parents had a cassette tape of a local group called the Temple Trio, and they're
Mm-hmm.
just an awesome local group. And I grew up listening to them, and they had some cassette tapes of groups like the Cathedrals and Spear Family and Gold City, and so that was my earliest gospel music was hearing that, and I can remember hearing the Inspiration singing "Tour in the City" and "Wake Up to Sleep No More" way back then. That's
Wow.
just you can't help but hear that on the radio once in a while. And the
Amen.
song "Jesus is Coming Soon," I remember hearing that. But uh, around the time right after I got saved, there was a lady that gave me a bunch of cassette tapes that were copied off of vinyl records. And in fact, I don't ever do this, but I've got them right here. I've got some of them.
Oh wow.
Just to show you an example, I just happen to have them right here next to my tape player. She would write these handwritten titles on them.
Oh
See that
wow.
that's backwards, but it says the Chuckwagon Gang.
Yeah.
She didn't write the songs or who was singing. She just wrote what the title of the record was, and she left me a bunch of these tapes, and it had like the Chuckwagon Gang, the Statesmen, the Oak Ridge Quartet, the Rebels, the Prophets, Seagull Brothers and Naomi, just all kinds of old groups like that. And I got really fascinated with that sound. And of course, it was a lot like what my dad's group, and he was just the bass player for that group, but it was a
Mm-hmm.
lot that style. I thought I had their cassette tape laying here somewhere, but it's I don't want to be digging through stuff on this live. But anyways, I just fell in love with that kind of music, and I was already learning to play a lot of instruments, and that I just that's the kind of music I wanted to play.
Yeah.
So
Brother
I know
Luke,
that's a
go
weird
ahead.
way to answer that, but that's the way I grew up.
Yeah. Brother Luke, how did the name The Inspirations develop?
Okay. You jump from one thing to another. I never know what you're going to ask. You keep me on my toes.
I might roll and he don't know what y'all gonna say on stage.
Yeah. The inspirations. Okay, this is interesting, and it's related to Kentucky in a way. Martin Cook, who was the school teacher that kind of started the group, and he didn't really mean to start a group, but he just would invite friends over to his house to sing and play music. And the ones that kind of stayed the most happened to be three boys that were in his classroom, and then one of their cousins who was a little bit younger to be in his class, but was in the same school. And so that was what turned into the original group, which would have been Troy Burns, Jack Laws, Archie Watkins, and Ronnie Hutchins. So that's the four guys that kind of started going up to his house and stayed the most.
Mm-hmm.
And they did that. I think they started doing that in the springtime, Archie has told me. And that summer, Martin Cook had to move to Kentucky for a few months during the summer to work as a park ranger at Mammoth Cave National Park. And I don't really know what his position was, but I know it involved kind of telling people about creation or something like that. He said he kind of would talk about God, how God created things, and I don't know if it was like some kind of chaplain or something. I don't know what it was, but he was a park ranger at Mammoth Cave. And of course, Mammoth Cave is just 15 minutes from where I live here in Kentucky.
Wow.
But Martin, and he did that the first 2 years, the Inspirations, those boys were getting together. And he called, okay, he was going to church at a little Baptist church on the square in Brownsville, Kentucky, right next to Mammoth Cave. That's where he went to church when he stayed there. And he heard the preacher preaching about being an inspiration to someone. And he thought that might be a good name for our group. So he called Archie Watkins, who, of course, a young kid, but he called him back home and said, "What would you think about our group, calling our group The Inspirations?" And so Archie thought that was a good idea, so they just went with it. And so that's where the name came from. And then, of course, when Martin returned from Kentucky after that summer, they started going out and singing as The Inspirations. And that would have been in about 1964. And
Wow.
they made their first recording in 1966, early in
Wow.
the year.
Wow. And since then, y'all, The Inspiration have recorded many CDs. And I'm going to tell you about Luke. We have played a fire out of y'all latest CD right here.
You like that one?
Oh, my God. We love that song that Wyatt does, The Sea of Forgetfulness. My God.
My past has been buried forever.
And there's one on there that you do that I'm trying to think what's the name of it. It's off the new CD.
Are you ever burdened with a load of care?
That one. People like that one.
Yeah. That was kind of a last minute decision. We had another song we were looking at, and not all of us were sold on this particular song. And so we were just like, well, what can we do in its place? And we had been messing around singing that Statesman Quartet arrangement of Count Your Blessings. And I said, I'll sing Count Your Blessings. That'll solve that. And so we threw that in there kind of last minute.
Yeah.
But I like it. I think it sounds pretty good. And I'm always in favor of counting blessings, you know.
Amen. We all need to do that.
Everyone's behind on thanking the Lord for something.
Yeah. But Luke, I was telling somebody the other day, last year, I attended Singing and Smoking. Who knows, I may be back again this year, but I attended Singing and Smoking last year. And I was in I think it was in Bryson City, and I found some old 8-tracks, The Inspirations.
Oh yeah. I've got a bunch of them.
It come out with on the 8-track, but Luke, it had the song Touring That City and stuff on there. And but I tell you what, The Inspirations, I tell you what, y'all have blessed many. Which one is that one right there?
That's a bootleg of I'm Taking a Flight. Didn't me and you talk about that one time?
I don't think we did. Listen to what we talked about.
I can't remember how we talked about that, but I've got all of the Inspirations 8 tracks.
But Luke, he was there in 1989. In fact, he sung bass with the Inspirations that year when Mike Hogan had the altar call.
Really?
He's still bass singing machine. He
Yeah.
told me the other day if he comes out there this year, he wants to join y'all on stage, sing a song with y'all on stage.
What was the circumstance? You said Mike was given a
altar call that year.
Was he singing with another group?
No, I think he was. I think Mike Hogan handed the microphone that year.
Okay, all right.
But he can still. That man right here, he can still sing some bass.
I think '89 was the year they made a video up there. It was either '89 or '90. I can't remember.
Yep.
Chris Smith, I know that.
Off that you mentioned the video, I found this old cassette a while back.
Yeah.
He was a DJ. He was a DJ.
Coming for me, the trumpet will be sounding. Soon Jesus will see. I love that.
But Luke, I need to pick up that song, do it again.
If Isaac knows it, we could probably sing it. We love that song. And I'll tell you what, Jack Toney wrote that song from the Statesman.
Oh, wow.
He wrote that. Mike Holcomb said he pitched him. He gave him a tape that had a bunch of songs he was pitching. And Jack sung all 4 parts on it. And I'd love to find that. I don't know if Mike has it or who's got. Archie may have it in his basement. But anyways, that Jesus is Coming for Me, when they would sing that live, on the second verse, Archie says, I'll bow down before him, give thanks for his grace. And then he would stop. They'd stop the music and he'd say, Amazing.
Oh, wow.
Grace. And he would sing the whole song, and then they would come back in. And that's where we got the idea to do that on Just As Long as Eternity Rolls.
That's a good song right there.
We didn't record it that way, but we do that live a lot of times. Yep. And it came from what Archie used to do on that.
But Luke, this man said he was the DJ at the celebration. Mike had known him in his family for many years.
Okay. I'm sure.
In fact, he lives not too far from the singing grounds, like 30 minutes away from y'all singing grounds.
Yeah, I think I've met him at some point.
You know, it's funny. I've met y'all several times. I told somebody the other day, the very first time I ever met Roland, he was singing with Set Apart.
Yeah. Hey, I heard them on the radio today. I was listening to King of Kings Radio, which is a gospel station up here in Kentucky where I'm from. And the lady was hosting it, and she said, and now here is a song by Set Apart. And I was just thinking, they've not sung in years, but it's good to hear them.
Was Roland on that CD?
If he was singing harmony. He wasn't singing the lead on it. Nathan Horton was singing lead.
I tell you what, that man can still sing.
Yeah.
Yep. But
where'd you see Set Apart?
Actually at the Primitive Quartet scene. That's where I first saw him.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Hey, Luke, this thing wants to know, can he come on and sing with y'all on stage if he comes singing in Smokies?
He'll have to ask Archie first. Archie fusses at us for calling people on stage.
Yeah.
And I'm scared to do it.
How's Archie doing?
I'm not against it, but when you see Archie up there, ask him about it, and he may make it happen.
How's Archie doing?
He had a stroke a couple years ago, about 3 years ago, actually.
Yeah.
And it kind of affected the right side of his body. And he recovered pretty good from that. And he can walk and drive and use his hand. Has to kind of concentrate on it a little more, but he's very fortunate that he can do what he can. But last year he had prostate cancer, and the treatments from that kind of weakened him, and that kind of made some of the progress he was making from the stroke kind of set back a little bit. but he's doing better now, and I'm
But
looking
Luke,
forward to seeing him again soon.
you think you think at Singing and Smokies, I know y'all did it last year. Will y'all do it like an inspiration reunion this year? Or you don't know?
We'll have the old and some old version of the group sing. Yes. We hadn't been calling it a full reunion because it's hard to get everybody there at the same time. For instance, Mike Holcomb is supposed to preach at Greer camp meeting, which goes on the same time as part of that.
Yeah.
And I think that's the day that we're having Matt Dobler and Melton and some of them sing. So I don't know exactly how we'll do all that, but
a white.
But well, I don't want to tell you that there's another former member that may do it, and it'll kind of be a surprise. So I don't want to. And it's not Marlon, and it's not Mike, not Wyatt, but it was one of the in between bases. But if that works out, he's got a busy schedule, but we won't give that away right now. But Mike, I think Mike is planning on be there, but maybe not the first night or something like that. I don't know.
I know last year, but y'all had that inspiration reunion, and I got a real good video of it last year when y'all did it. Somebody said Chris Smith.
Yeah, I'd love to see him. I saw his son. His son came to hear us about 2 months ago or so, right around Thanksgiving. And he said Chris wasn't feeling good, and he was wanting to come that particular night. So I don't know. Maybe we'll see him. It's been a few years since I've seen Chris, but he still sings a little, I think.
But Luke, there's a song that y'all recorded years ago. Y'all need to pick back up and do it again. If y'all don't, I'm gonna get on the rolling. I told him a while back to do it. The sooner the better. Yeah, y'all need to do that again.
You know the person that wrote it. I know all about it.
My cousin wrote it.
Yeah. The sooner, the better, the coming of the Lord.
But I need to try to do that on stage one day. See if people remember that song.
I remember it. I just don't know.
Roland all remember that song.
Roland will make up the words if he don't know it. If he's
watching that a while back. I was watching y'all on stage a while back, and he asked us, he said, well, what's the words of that song?
Well, we've all had our moments doing that, but when Isaac joined our group, see, me and Wyatt and Roland had already been singing with Archie and the older group, and Martin, some of us with Martin. But when Isaac came with us, you know, singing the tenor part, that's most of the verses. And the inspirations, Archie was featured on just about every song. So Isaac was fixing to have to learn a lot of words. And he said, guys, I'm very slow at learning words. You're just going to have to bear with me. And it didn't take him long. And he's one of the best ones at remembering words. And you hardly ever will hear him miss a word. And so I'm really proud of him. And Wyatt is really good at it too. But he's usually not the one that leads out on the songs. So he's sometimes the one that you look to on stage, like, what's the first verse? What's the first verse? And Wyatt will whisper it to you. But now Roland's a singing machine, but he will, if he forgets the words, he'll make them up and they'll still make sense.
Yeah, y'all gonna be Luke, y'all gonna be at a friend of mine's church in a couple of weeks, but Chris Brumfield.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we love him. He's one of my favorites.
You know what's funny? Y'all gonna be back in my area again in a couple of weeks too.
Down there in Georgia, where is it? I can't remember.
Lincoln.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you know it's funny. Y'all gonna be there.
Last time we were there, you walked right by me, and I didn't even know.
I know. And I was at singing in the Smokies. I was going to talk to you singing at Smokies, and you was talking, and you would say, "Hey, y'all!" You was talking to somebody. I forgot who it was.
Hey, you just interrupt me, and
hey, don't be like I did Roland. You know I did a Roland.
What'd you do?
This he won't get me, but he was talking to somebody. I was talking to his wife. I said, who's that man right there? She said, that's my hubby. And I was talking to Roland because I remember Roland, for Set Apart. Yep.
That's almost as bad as what I did one time. We were singing in Mississippi, and one of our really good friends down there, his name is Roland.
Oh my
And
God.
he's a promoter. He promotes gospel music around like Mobile, Alabama, and he's a real friend of ours. And he was on the front row, and he was talking to somebody, and I was going through the audience shaking people's hands before the singing started, just meeting people. And there was a woman there, and she was talking to me kind of like she knew me. And I shook her hand and I said, now, who are you? And she said, I'm Roland's wife. And I just looked and I was like, you're not the one that I knew about. But what she was talking about, she was Roland Hayes's wife, this man that's one of our promoters.
Oh my
But when
God.
she said, I'm Roland's wife, I said, you're, but she makes fun of me every time I see him. And Roland does too. That Roland makes fun of me.
I'll first say you're rolling. He better not.
No,
He may get fired by Archie.
yeah.
Well, Brother Luke, how did you join the Inspirations?
I just marched up there and said, "Let me join." No, I'm just joking. No, no. I told you during that time when I was fascinated with all the old groups,
Oh yeah.
I was listening to a lot of that music, and it's just all I could think about. And I heard that Naomi and the Seagulls were going to be singing close to where I lived, and they were also going to be with the Inspirations, and the Sneed family was hosting them. Which
Mhm.
the Sneed family is a local group to here. They'd sung at my church and sung around here and knew me. And so I made up my mind I was going to go to that singing all by myself. I had never went to a concert that I wasn't with my family, but that one I was going to go whether they wanted to go or not. So I drove to that singing, and I was really excited to hear Naomi Seago because to me she was a legend, and I loved the Inspirations old music, but I didn't expect them to be the same as what I was used to. I
Mhm.
didn't know. I didn't know. I hadn't followed them. I'd listened to all of their old music and even sung some of those songs, but I just didn't know that they still sang the same way they always did. So that night, and keep in mind, I was 17 years old, right out of high school.
Mhm.
That night, the Seagulls sang, and I just thought Naomi was awesome. It was so cool. She sung all my favorites, like "Born to Serve the Lord" and
Oh yeah.
"Is My Lord Satisfied with Me."
Oh yeah.
But then the Inspirations came on, and that's when it got real. Uh, Martin comes out there and walks to the piano and just starts playing, and them guys run out and start singing, and it was just the best thing I'd ever heard. And the song "I Have Not Forgotten" was brand new then, and they
Wow.
sang that and just kept singing it and kept singing it, and people were lifting their hands and just uh, it had me crying. I started crying, and it back then you couldn't hardly get me to cry, but that song just really touched me. And of course, I had just gotten saved just uh, about 5 years before that, and it just blew me away. I thought it was the greatest thing I'd ever heard. And during the intermission of that concert, one of the guys from the Sneed family, Jeff Sneed, who was the promoter, he said, "You're that boy that plays piano." And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "Why don't you come up on the stage and play a song on the piano before we start the second half, just like an instrumental?" And I said, "Okay." I was scared to death. And but I went up there and I played that old Statesman song. I had just learned this song, that "Oh my Lord, what a time."
Oh yeah.
I had just learned that, and so that's the only thing I could think of. And I don't know if anybody in the audience even knew that song, but that's what I played on the piano. And I'll never forget, Martin Cook was standing on the stairs, uh, just watching every move I made. And Naomi Seagull was standing right next to him, and she was going, "Oh my Lord, what a time." She would sing, she'd shake her head like that, and she was singing along while I was playing that. And there was Martin standing there watching and just really close. And after the singing, Martin told me that he wanted to help me and kind of give me some uh, advice and stuff like that. And so he took my phone number down, and they signed a picture for me. And there's actually a picture of me and Mike Holcomb and Naomi Seago and a couple other boys. There were some other boys that they got up to play the piano too after I played, but we all got our picture made with him, and that was just so cool to me because I didn't know it just all happened really fast.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went home just thinking, "Whoa, I got to do the coolest thing ever. That's just so cool." And I didn't think any more about it. But about a month later, Jeff Sneed called me again and said, "Hey, Martin Cook lost your phone number. Can I give him your phone number?" And I said, "Yeah, of course." And so not long after that, Martin called me back and he said, "Hey, we're going to be singing in Somerset, Kentucky, and that's pretty close to you. We want you to come and bring a guitar and let's just get acquainted." And so
Oh,
I
wow.
didn't know what that meant, but I showed up. I didn't even own a suit. I had like a blue dress shirt and khaki pants, and I walked out there, and he asked me to play the guitar with him that night. And he said, "Myron will tell you the keys to all the songs." But and he showed me how to play the intro to "When I Wake Up to Sleep No More" on the piano, and he showed me how he wanted rhythm to be played on the piano.
Yeah.
And that's all he told me. And Myron gave me all the keys, and I just played rhythm along with him. And then Martin had me come out and play some piano. And later that night, he took me on the bus and he wrote down all kinds of dates, a bunch of dates where they were going to be coming through Kentucky or singing in Kentucky, or dates where they just were singing like on the weekend and not
Mm-hmm.
during the week. And he said, "Now we want you to come to all these dates." And he said, "But keep up with your schoolwork," because I
Yeah.
was starting to take college classes. So uh, he said, "I want you to come all you can, but just keep up with your schoolwork." And so
Mm-hmm.
I started doing that, and I came about half of the time. That was from August, and then their last date of the year was the end of November, and I played about maybe three quarters of the time. I wasn't on every day. Like if they left out on a Thursday, I had to do classes and I couldn't get out. But Friday and Saturdays I could do. And one of the dates was the Singing in the Smokies. One was the Quartet Convention. One was Renfro Valley. And here I was playing on these big stages, and I hadn't done anything to get there. It just all happened. And then by the end of that year, the next school semester, I worked it out where I could go all the time. And so I've been going ever since.
But Luke, I tell you what, y'all have truly blessed people around this world. Y'all continue blessing people around this world. And the best is yet to come for the inspirations in this year and the years to come.
Well, we just want to do what the Lord wants us to do. And I think that's the best way to do it.
Amen.
But we're excited. We're fixing to go in the studio uh, just here in a week and record again.
Oh,
And
buddy.
we've got some things we're excited about. We're still getting some stuff together on that, but uh, we're excited to get another recording ready, and we'll hopefully have it ready at the Singing in the Smokies in the
By the
summer.
way, if you ain't ever been to Singing the Smokies, that need to be your highlight trip of the year. And I went up there last year, but Luke, and I met some people, and we become acquainted on Facebook now since I met them
Uh-huh.
up there last year.
Yeah, we most of our friends you'll see them there. We love doing that.
Yep. In fact, I ain't told people this yet. I'm gonna go and tell them. We got Mr. the Legendary himself, Troy and Tammy Poster come on. They're supposed
They're
to come
coming
on
on.
and be with us sometime. We're gonna talk about that event then.
Oh, you're talking about tonight or
No, sometime later on.
oh, okay.
Not
That'll
tonight.
be
I don't want to mess with old Troy. He's probably in the bed asleep right now.
no, he's I don't know what he's doing, but he's
Yep.
probably awake.
Do y'all ever sing with Troy Burns much?
Yeah, we of course the Singing in the Smokies they host that, and so we work with them on that, and then we see them at the Quartet Convention, and then we've been doing a singing in Mississippi with them, uh, in Lake Mississippi, but we didn't do that this year, and we do a singing in Alabama with them, just here and there. We do a lot of singings by ourselves, but you know, if Troy was to be on the program, we always get him to sing or play the bass or something.
Both.
Yeah, Troy was the original bass player with the Inspirations too.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Troy started out singing bass, then he left, and he wanted to come back, but Martin had already replaced him with Marlon Schubert. So Martin said for him to play the bass. And so Troy played the bass for a few years until he started singing lead.
Yep. Well, I tell you what, Brother Luke, thank you for coming on tonight, brother. And hey, I would like to get some of the Inspiration guys on at sometime if I can.
Well, I'm sure they would do it for you. I'll put a bug in their ear. I know them pretty well.
I especially want to get rolling on sometime.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll mention that to Roland. We're leaving out tomorrow night. We're headed to Florida. And
Bill Bailey's.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll get rolling and then the rest of the group on sometime. I would love to.
So we'll see you at Lincolnton, right?
If I don't see y'all there, I might see y'all. I may be seeing y'all at Singing in Smokies again. I ain't sure yet.
Okay.
See, Brother Luke, since last time I met y'all, I started traveling on the road with a group. I travel on the road with a group now. We've been busy.
Yeah, I've seen you singing with them.
Oh yeah, we sing an old song. We was at a church a while back, and they asked me about the Inspirations. I saw signs of the Inspirations. It was an old poster of them, and I think it was when you and Wyatt and Roland, and then I think Archie and them was, it was an old picture like that, and it said now coming. I said I contacted that church a while back. I said y'all don't need to get that post. Y'all didn't have that post now. You need to get an update picture of the group now. By the way, y'all,
you know where that picture was taken?
Where?
That was at the top of the Smoky Mountains, right there on the North Carolina Tennessee line. It's called Clingman's Dome. Well, that's the old name. They've renamed it the Indian name now. It's called Kuoi now, but most people know it as Clingman's Dome. But that's the observation deck at the top. And so we wanted to say we're up above the world so high. And that's why we went to that high place up there.
Yeah. But Luke, I was watching the old tape the other day. I don't know if you remember this, but the Primitive Quartet's on that song too.
Yeah, they told us we should record that. We got the idea from them.
Wow. And
then there was a group back in the 50s called the Hardin Brothers Quartet, and that's where the Primitives got it. They got it from them. They were some of their heroes, and the Primitives were some of ours. So it was kind of handed down from group to group. But that's Mike Riddle and some of them, they suggested that we do that song, and it just fits us just perfectly.
Yeah, but we had Brother Jeff Talbot on here a few weeks ago, last year. And
I played with them on the cruise.
I know you did, man. That sounded good, boy, with that steel guitar and stuff. Woo!
Yeah.
And then that fiddle playing y'all did, my God, y'all tore it up.
Jeff plays the bass with us whenever we're together, and so now we've started swapping. I'll play the fiddle and banjo and dobro for him, and then he'll play bass with us. So we go back and forth on that.
Well, you know what I told Jeff?
What?
I mentioned this to Jeff when he was on. I said, I would love to see the original Primitive Quartet get back together, a reunion. I would love to.
Oh, yeah.
And I talked to Reagan about it a while back. He was on a live one night. Y'all maybe coming to work, so y'all better watch out.
What did Reagan say?
Reagan said they'll probably do it sometime.
Yeah. I guarantee they could come out and sing, and it'd be like they'd never quit.
Hey, Brother Luke, that may be a good idea to do that. Singing in Smokies when you get the Primitive Quartet to come back and do a reunion or something, maybe 1 year.
Well, we kind of thought about that. We'll see what happens. I don't know.
Please, I love that group, y'all. I'm telling you, my three favorite groups. Oh gosh, bluegrass style is y'all, Primitive, and Jeff Tauber.
Yeah. Well, Jeff Tauber's group, they're doing a good job. We love to sing with them, and they brought back a lot of the old Primitive songs that the Primitives had quit singing, and kind of gave some new life to them. They kind of do like with the primitives, like we did with the older inspirations. We went back and got a lot of those songs that hadn't been sung in years, and people think they're new songs. And Jeff has done a good job with that because all of them guys know every primitive song,
Yep.
and they work them up and do them. Of course, they're great musicians too.
But Luke, I know you got to go. I know y'all get ready to head on the road tomorrow. But y'all were just recorded. Y'all ain't just recorded, but y'all put out an old JB Spencer song. Then we'd be glad. And I do it.
Yeah, JB. When we found out JB had passed away, I've always liked that song, and I like. See, the Inspirations recorded that back in the '80s when that song was new, and I always liked Mike's bass line on it, but I didn't like the harmony they did on it. But I love the way the Spencers did it with JB singing the verses and then
Kevin in the
Kevin
bass.
doing the bass. But see, I always wanted to combine both ways of doing it, like have the verses sung by themselves like JB, but then have the bass part like Mike did it. And so the day that we found out JB passed away, I was just sitting there during sound check and I started singing that just for fun, just kind of because he was on my mind. I was kind of sad about that. And Wyatt came in and sung that bass line just exactly like I was hearing it.
We'll be glad.
And we never could figure out what else to do. And so I said, Isaac, why don't you do that? Then we'll be glad. Why don't you do that?
Yeah.
And so we came up with an arrangement that's never been done on it. And we sung it that night at Paul Belcher's church for the first time.
Oh, yeah, I watched it. Y'all
they wouldn't let us quit till we'd sung it 6 times. And so
I want to top on the last part and say, "Say it one more time."
Yeah, we're planning on recording that next week when we go in the studio. So
please do so, please.
That song, JB sung it till he passed away, and I think it still needs to be sung. So we're kind of gonna try to bring it back because it was an inspiration song at one time.
Yep.
But also because we like the Spencers and stuff like that. So, but we'll try to make it our own, and I think it'll encourage people to live like Jesus.
That's right. But Luke, thank you for coming on tonight, brother. And I'll see y'all sometime in the race. If I don't see y'all in Lincoln, and I'll see y'all sometime this year, hopefully.
Okay. Well, don't you walk by me. You look me up and holler.
I want to do like I did Roland. Say, who is that woman? Who is that man right there?
You don't have to worry. I'm not too busy for you. You look me up and interrupt me if you have to. I don't care. I'm always glad to see you.
Yeah, it's always a privilege to see Brother Luke Vaught, which is, I'm gonna tell you all this right now. They said this about him at NQC, y'all. He's the most talented musician in gospel music, y'all. He can play every instrument there is. And but Brother Luke, thank you for coming on, and truly, I would love to get some of the boys on sometime, mentioning them, and tell them to reach out to me sometime.
All right.
I would especially love to get Roland, because Roland got a history in gospel music his own self too.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate what you do for the gospel and for gospel music, and you just keep doing it.
And we appreciate you, Brother Luke, and I appreciate the Inspirations Quartet. Let me tell y'all this. If you would like to find out where they're singing at, I'm gonna tell y'all right now, they got a lot of dates coming up. But if you would like to find out where they're at, I know many of y'all know how to do this. Get your phone out, scan the QR code right here on the screen, and Brother Luke, it goes to y'all's website. Do that, and then you can find out where the number one quartet in gospel music will be at, the Inspirations Quartet. Amen. Well, Brother Luke, thank y'all for coming. Thank you for coming on, and truly, I would love to get the boys on sometime.
Okay.
Like I said, let me know, or let them let me know when they can do it. Because right now I don't hardly got nothing in April or May.
All right.
Yep. Thank you, brother, and just let me know what the voice says.
All right.
God bless you. Bye.
See you, Spencer. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.